For Turkey, it was because it was the happening of the color TV in '73. And Eurovision Song Contest was the first show transmitted, broadcast, sorry, in color. So everybody was in the house or in the cafe, because there was not so many TVs at that time there. And they all saw the first major event was Eurovision Song Contest in Turkey, and I thought it was almost the first Eurovision Song Contest broadcast.
Yeah.
So can you imagine when it's like you organize the football, the world championship of football in a country that discovers TV. So of course, when they see the winner, they will remember the winner. It was an event for them. Today it's less that, because they are used to many shows. But at that time, it was the main show they had. So, of course, you can be immediately, you can belong to them. But this I discovered when I was in Tokyo. It was in '73, November. So a young lady who represented Turkey, she said, "But Anne-Marie, why don't you come to Turkey? You're so famous." And I said, "Well, I would be pleased to go to Turkey if I know I'm famous, but I discover it now." And she says, "Oh my God, but you cannot imagine how famous you are." And I say, "Well, I would be pleased to go there, but I don't have any connection." And she told me, "Well, my best friend is the main agent that brings all the stars in Turkey for years and years and years. If you want me, I can give you, if you want, I can give you your telephone number, and he will ring you in a few days." So I give her my name and my address and my phone number and everything. And about 15 days after I was back from Japan, I received a call, and this guy said, "Okay, I'm Mr. Ozerman, and I would be very pleased to bring you in Turkey if you like to." And I said, "Why not?" We discussed about the conditions and so. And I came there, and during 3 years I never stopped working. Never. I remember the main year I worked there, I made 280 concerts in 1 year, which is crazy. Sometimes I sang 3 times a day in 3 places, different places, and there was awful lot. It was a stadium or a theater or a nightclub, sometimes 3 together. It was fun. It was very crazy.
But the payoff, or the other side of that, is that the rest of other parts of the world that maybe in another scenario a singer would have gone for, like the States for example, was left alone. Now obviously we can look back and talk about this now, and you obviously were happy to do what you did at the time, but I know it's great to be big, or a big star, at least in a big country like Turkey. Not many people from the West can say that, so that's unique for you, I suppose. But look, with all respect to Turkey, looking back on it now, are you know, it's a happy decision still, or just because of the way it went? Well, there were no roads to America or
when your record company does its business correctly, this kind of things never happen. But in a way, I think they were confused about what to make me record after such a success. And then I remember they were very confused, and they were a bit quarreling together. And there was a bit of jealousy also between France and England, and because everybody wanted me at the same time. So I just said, who comes first? will have my answer first.
Yeah.
And why to refuse to work in a country when people love you and where people want you? Because I still remember that during this time there was not any real direction to say you should stop, and because these people ask you, you know, I've discovered 20 years after that Canada wanted me to go there, and as far as I had as an explanation, it's Paris has refused for me.
Yeah.
Without talking to me, without asking me if I wanted to go to Canada. Can you imagine that I would have refused to go to Canada? Of course not. But they were quarreling, you know, about me. I don't know why. Because too many quarrels make no, as I told you before, no main direction. So,
Yeah.
when agents in concerts work well and your record company doesn't work well, what would you do? You get to concerts. And I'm also a stage performer before to be a record artist. I really have always made my notoriety on my performing. That's why people love me when I perform Eurovision, because they saw me performing. If the same contest has happened without seeing the artist, maybe I wouldn't have won. I think, as far as I know, I watch my TV. I know that always I have convinced more than my songs. Because, to be honest, I didn't have so splendid songs. Many artists have had many beautiful songs, much better than mine. But maybe I fight more for them than others. So, to see somebody convinces me much more than to just listen to it. Make a blind Eurovision. Maybe the result will not be the same. And especially for nowadays.
Yeah.
Everything is based on the show.
Yeah.
Listen just to the music and don't see the show. You don't vote for what you hear. So, that's it.
So,
That's exactly what I feel now. But at that time, I didn't have so much reflections.
so just to tidy this up about your first record deal, did it just kind of fizzle out in the mid-70s, or was there, you know, normally if you sign, it's an artist agrees to do eight albums, don't they? Or certainly that was the...
Less than that, but you have a certain amount of albums or single to do. But, you know, when the feeling, when the passion, when the interest, because people quarrel too much, is there, then the willing of doing something disappears.
Yeah.
And I think they have waited slowly that the contract finishes,
Yeah.
instead of saying, well, what shall we do now? But because also at that time it was the 70s were fair period with lots of things, possibilities. Maybe today they would not quarrel so much and try to be more efficient, because we sell less records. So you have to be efficient all the time, as much as possible.
But you did manage to get one record at least released in Turkey, didn't you? In Turkish.
Absolutely.
Was that off your own efforts, or an independent of CBS, or were they involved?
No, it
in
was
that?
totally independent
Yeah.
of CBS.
With their blessing, with their agreement, or you just didn't ask them?
No, no, I didn't ask them. You know why?